All right, welcome back. This is Dr. Jesse Morse of the Fantasy Doctors. We're going to talk about the current Bills running back, LeSean McCoy, as he suffered an apparent rib injury on Sunday in another massacre, a little less than the previous week. But either way, I had him as a sneaky pick this past week, and he didn't quite do as much, whether or not it had to do with the rib injury or just how much they were getting blown out. Either way, Allen didn't look awful. So yesterday, a couple different reports came out. One initially saying that he had fractured ribs, another one saying no, they were not fractured. It was more of a cartilage issue. So let me break down kind of the couple different options here. Fractured ribs are fractured ribs, and they're very painful. Think of the lungs as a balloon, and think of the ribs as protecting that balloon as it goes around it. So you have the rib cage starts up here and it goes all the way down to about here. You can feel your ribs stop. So typically running backs will take rib shots around over here or sometimes in the back, and that can be very painful. Well, every time you try to take a deep breath, the cartilage stretches and the nerves that run in between each rib and within the cartilage stretch and it can be very painful, especially if you're trying to run, you're trying to get a lot of air and you're stretching that cartilage, you're stretching those, irritating those nerves and moving those broken ribs if they're broken. Very painful. There's only so much you can do. You can give them a lot of pain medicines. You can put some local cortisone in there if you're careful, but you have to be very careful. You can wear a flak jacket. A lot of guys don't like wearing this because it's cumbersome. Especially the running backs and these type of position players. Takes about 2 to 4, sometimes even close to 6 weeks to fully heal, but at 2 weeks they're feeling better, so much so that they're able to function a little better. The problem is they're going to take another shot to this area. It's almost inevitable, especially with a high volume runner like McCoy. So whether or not he has a true fracture, he's definitely got some cartilage damage injury in there, and he's going to be in a lot of pain. I expect him to likely play this week. I'm down on him only for the fact that A, their offense is awful, and B, this is a very painful injury. Expect him to get probably play with a flak jacket. He may even get some local lidocaine around there. You got to be really close because you do not want to go too far and insert the needle into the lung, which will then cause it to collapse. Big deal. So obviously you have to be very careful if you're doing that. And you don't want these guys hopped up on painkillers or Toradol before the game, because then they can break something else and not even really realize it. So kind of a slippery slope here. Personally, I would sit McCoy this week if you have him, if you can afford to. I say there's about a 70% chance he plays, but I don't know exactly how well he's going to play, which is why I'm concerned about him. Expect them to kind of take it easy on in the next couple of weeks, and he should be ready to rock and roll maybe by week 5, latter half of week 4 towards week 5. I think he'll be ready to go. That's all I have for McCoy. I'll keep you updated as when I hear more. Stay tuned to the injury reports and the Fantasy Doctors as we release more information and more thoughts on it. Also check out the Fantasy Doctors podcast, whether it's by video or by podcast, and that will talk about a lot of these other injuries more from an overview, as well as getting my partner in crime, Dr. LeSean McCoy's kind of opinion about whether or not he would start him as well. So also check out our injury tracker on the Fantasy Doctors. It's pretty sweet. It's got a bunch of different injuries. It kind of tells you what's going on. It's a quick, good reference guide. It has both offensive and defensive players, everybody, not just the big name guys that I have a tendency to do videos on. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to reach out to me at Dr. Jesse Morse or my website. Check in the comments and I will put the link there for you. All right, take care. We'll talk soon.